Hello again, my name is Russell Scott from scottcarvings.com. I'm going to carve a gnome who's going to be carrying sticks. This is my first round of it. I've got this idea off of, not the pattern, but the idea. I had to create my own pattern from one of those gnome books that are out there. And now this particular character, what he's going to do is he's going to be dragging sticks behind him. Now, unfortunately, this thing broke. It's supposed to have, and then he would have a clump of wood he'd be dragging. Just broke on me, jeez. Bigger, I guess bigger is better because you can have a bigger stick. Now this particular piece, he's going to be walking like this. And the sticks are going to help hold him up. Now he generally is okay, I guess, but he will tip easy without the sticks. Now this is the pattern that I'm going to start with. This one here is a 2 1/4 square by about 7 1/2. And this is the pattern. This is kind of the cutout. There's the front, because that's what I did. I photoshopped. And I thought, well, I'll just make the arms just a little bigger, so I spread the arms out a little bit. So there is, I don't know if I look at it this way to stop and get the pattern. Like I said, 2 1/4 square by 7 1/2. And you can probably see through this paper here that this is like I'm going to straighten out my scanner. So I always use my patterns. I always use recycled paper, like to recycle. This particular pattern here, it's very simple. I mean, there's nothing really to it other than there's the point and there's 4 legs. When I do legs, if this character is walking like this is the leg, the foot that's going to be out, and this is a foot that's going to be down. So we're going to get rid of this and get rid of this. Usually I'll just saw, just saw in and then out. But if it was a standing gnome, I probably would have took out a little bit. So you probably could even use this almost as a standing gnome. I mean, you have to adjust the feet a little bit. Well, let's get started. I'm going to put down the center line. Maybe I should have had that to start with. I don't particularly care about the center line on the side. Oops. It's kind of hard to do a center line on an angle. Off an angle like that. Just following the angle. First thing we want to do is, I always do when something like this, is let's get the arms out. The arms are going to come up a little bit here, arm and hand. I want to start using all of this. I'm going to use all of this. The elbow's going to come out. So what's going to happen from here is, I like to draw here. Oops. Geez, it is hard to. There's the back. So the elbow's going to come out a little bit. So in other words, this is going to go in. It's going to go in more with the exception of his hair. I mean, you can draw there. That's going to go away. And then in the front, I'm just going to be safe for right now. I'm sure we'll be shaping. Of course, you know the rules. You can always take wood off, but it's hard to put it back on again. those coming back. So I'm going to want you to have this kind of an angle here. Okay, there's that. Then, like I said, we are going to keep this leg, but this leg is coming off. Let's go a little go by here. I think I add an extra, the knee is a little forward. So, goodbye to this. And then on this side here, also a little back. Goodbye to this. And then when we were going to shape the shoulders, when we get to shaping the shoulders, I want to make sure I put the, let's probably do that. Let's do that right now to make sure that we just don't get carried away. I like to put this in. This is where the ears are, way more than what we need. It just reminds me not to get too wacky happy at it there, and because a lot of this is gonna, I'm just drawing in here, this is really not just to show you. Well, we can probably take some of this off. It's gonna be something like this. So yeah, we can take this out of here. And of course this will come out. We're going to flatten this. We're going to make this the same level as this, but we want to make sure we leave a little bit of beard. Actually, yeah, we want a little bit of beard and a little, I think we might have enough for the buckle. Just flatten it a little bit. Now how I have it here, very interesting, is see how the hand is back. I'm a little nervous about leaving it like that. I think this, I got a little carried away with this piece. So I'm gonna go a little forward, so his hand is gonna end up here. Is gonna be a little forward. And again, we can adjust it as we go. I just hate to whack it off and whack off the pieces. Same here. Now this is gonna come, you basically can just kind of smooth that out. And we're just going to smooth that down, where this is going to bring this out. Okay, let's get walloping on it, and keep him in view. Can I keep him in view and not cause any trouble? Or because you got to keep an eye on him, because he will walk away. They are kind of a little mischievous, but more noble than anything. Now I like to put on my glove that I use, my chisel glove, and start chiseling. Now, if I haven't mentioned it before, I am from Minnesota, so this is a Scandinavian type of carving, flat plane. I'm going to do it as flat plane as possible. I forgot to mention that. He isn't as flat planed, but we do have a strong Scandinavian heritage in Minnesota. And it's very interesting if you get on places like YouTube and look up some of our old kiddie shows, Axel and his dog, or Axel's Treehouse from the 1960s, and he's a Scandinavian, and he tells the kids, you know, how to behave and all that kind of stuff, and he's got the Scandinavian accent, and because he's from Minnesota. And then we have other little comical stuff like walking in your winter underwear. If you look that up on the YouTube, it's an old song, and taking the winter wonderland and walking in a winter underwear with the Scandinavian accent. That's kind of a little bit how we were growing up. And kind of interesting, Axel, he's in his tree house there and doing his shtick or whatever he does and introducing cartoons. And then once in a while we have Carmen the nurse that comes and visits and tells the kids how to be safe. And now you all listen to Carmen now. It's a cold one out there. You put your coat on there. It's a chilly one out there now. And you eat your vegetables now. You don't want to be sick. You don't want to get the sniffles now. It's kind of interesting. He has this Adolf Hitler type mustache. Well, it was pretty common among the Scandinavians, but just kind of lost favor after Adolf Hitler came in the scene, and it was no longer the fashion. In fact, my grandfather had well, you don't want to call it then Adolf Hitler mustache, but he shaved his off as soon as Hitler came on the scene. But anyways, that's the American or the Minnesota heritage, and not that I like to drop names, but of course if you're familiar with Harley Refsaw and his flat plane carving, he's from around here. Now I like to use the bigger chisels and when it comes to roughing out. You can still use a knife, that's fine. It just kind of takes off for me. It's easier to take the wood off faster. Of course, be careful. Carmen the nurse wouldn't want you to cut yourself now. So just getting the shape of it. Yeah. Oops, I kind of got into that foot, I hope. Well, it's going to be black, painted black, so if I did screw up. And I don't know if I've mentioned on my other videos to check out my Pinterest site, pinterest.com/rscott56 to see all my other pictures. I've, as of recently, not been keeping up with my blog, which I should, but it's just, I've been keeping up with the Pinterest, which has lots of pictures, lots of my pictures, or most all of my pictures.